Hey guys, it's the WalterFootball.com After Dark show for April 19, 2024. We're 1 week away from the NFL draft. In fact, at this time next week, we'll probably be in the 20s of the first round. So can't believe it. It's pretty surreal that it's almost upon us, and kind of scary too, because, or for me at least, because I feel so far behind, especially this year now that I have two kids under 2.5. So yeah. So speaking of which, there's a small chance I might have to cut this short because I'm at home by myself with my daughter. My wife and my son are they went to their my in-laws house because my son has to have a procedure. He's getting tubes in his ears. And it's at 6:30 and it's near their house. So my wife just thought they'd sleep over there. So my daughter wakes up, I have to go get her. So just a warning, if I sign off early, you'll know why. But anyway, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video. Visit the link in the description for the merch store. All that would mean a lot to us, and especially if you contribute with super chats and super stickers. We've had some great ones this week. Kevin Kovac had like $30 worth on Tuesday. We had Slew for $5.55 yesterday. Degeneron $5. It's so great to get these contributions from you guys, because that keeps the show going. And YouTube ads, as I always say, they pay absolutely nothing. It's like $1.30 at most. It's pretty ridiculous. But yeah. So like even a $2 super chat or super sticker would like almost double what we normally would make. So anything you guys could contribute to help keep the show going would be really appreciated. Also, you can also help us out by buying the book. My third book, Jerks of the College Years, is out on Amazon. And yeah, it's just a bunch of stories from my college years. I spent 6 years at Penn State, so as you can imagine, we had some pretty fun times there. Met some insane people, and I wrote about them, sort of like in the vein of Jerks of the Week. So yeah, I think if you guys like Jerks of the Week, I think you'll like Jerks of the College Year. So you can support us this way as well. Dave says family first. I hope for a speedy recovery. Yeah, I had tubes in my ears as well. When I was his age too. So I know he has to be out of swimming for a couple of weeks. We always go to swim lessons on Wednesday, so I'm sure he's gonna miss that. But yeah, hopefully, yeah, thank you so much. That hopefully he has a speedy recovery. I already miss my son because he's always here and always like causing a ruckus and running around like crazy. And it's like it was quiet at home tonight for like the first time forever. So yeah, but I'll see him tomorrow. So anyway, yeah. So I thought I'd get into a couple mock drafts. We did a couple on, or I did mine on Tuesday. Yeah, nephew just got tubes. Yeah, it's I think it's pretty common. I think when I got them, it was like fairly new. Well, at least I think it was. But yeah, now I feel like a lot of people get them. So yeah, hopefully it's a quick and easy procedure and he recovers well. So I did my mock draft on Tuesday. I did rumors on Wednesday. I thought I'd look at a couple other mock drafts today. I didn't update mine yet. It just actually I fell asleep yesterday trying to update it. I was just going through my Excel sheet and like looking at 30 visits and trying to match up like late round prospects to teams. And I like the next thing I knew, I like my right hand was numb, and like it was like an hour later or something. And I was like, oh my God, how did I fall asleep like this at my computer? It's just so exhausting. So I don't have my mock draft updated, but I thought we'd look at Charlie's for the first time. We haven't looked at Charlie's mock draft yet. So I'm going to break down his picks. And then my developer, he promoted this mock draft that someone built on the site. He said it's pretty good. So I haven't looked at it yet. I kind of like glossed over it, but just to make sure it did look good on the surface. And I didn't immediately notice any egregious mistakes. So I did see that there were some trays in there too. So I thought that'd be pretty fun. But yeah, so anyway, gonna look at all that. If you guys want to leave some comments, questions, I'll answer anything. That's my policy here if I'm alone, because when Tom, Jacob, or Kenny are on, I kind of feel bad because they work for other people and they can get in trouble. I work for no one. I work for myself, so I can't fire myself for saying anything. I can't get canceled because I fund my own business. So yeah, so you guys, I'll answer anything you guys want to ask. So all right, let's get going here. Here is Charlie's mock draft. It was updated Monday. But I mean, he's already working on his next update, but he hasn't sent anything in. So like this is the latest from Charlie, who's been the most accurate mock drafter over the past decade. I know like was it the Huddle Report will say otherwise, but like they don't include our mock drafts. I actually exchanged some tweets with them. I think it was like September, October. And I'm like I pointed out that Charlie was the most accurate mock drafter, and then they're like, no, he's not. He's not on our list. And like, well, why don't you put him on your list? And they're like, well, he hasn't submitted it. And I'm like, well, I think Charlie is super busy, and so am I. Like the 24 hours leading up to the draft, like we don't have time to submit anything. And so like I'm like, you can't say you have like a comprehensive list. If you don't include the most accurate mock drafter in the past decade, like your list is flawed. So yeah, Charlie, even though the Huddle Report doesn't say it, he is the most accurate mock drafter in the past decade. So he's Caleb Williams, number one. No need to delve into this. As I've been saying, like, unless he falls down the stairs and gets kidnapped by aliens, he's going to be the top pick. Jane Daniels, number two. The Redskins said that they're not trading the pick. Charlie reported that at the combine. So another report win for Charlie. And we don't know who they're going to take yet. Actually, Washington said today that they're going to have an answer soon. I feel like they're debating within the front office right now. Sources that know about the team told Charlie that they think it's going to be Jaden Daniels, but that's secondhand information. It's not like that a direct report or anything, but it sounds like it's going to be Daniels. I think he's the favorite. I think he was like minus 330 to be the second pick or something like that. I glanced at DraftKings quickly when I went to Trenton yesterday. And I noticed like Daniel was the overwhelming favorite. So I think he's the right pick to go number two. Charlie has Drake made to the Patriots. I think this is correct as well. They could take McCarthy. They really want Daniels though. So if he falls to three, he's going to be the pick. But right now, I think I'd put May over McCarthy. Chris, anything you say. All right. Who would win a hot dog eating contest between you, Kenny, Charlie, Jacob, and Tom? So I need some clarification here. Is this who would eat the most number of hot dogs, or who would eat the most number of hot dogs in a set amount of time? You have to tell me this, because there's a big difference, and my answer will differ depending on what you say. Primetime Perry says if Redskins go Daniels, Patriots potentially move out and Vikings jump to three. No, the Patriots are going to go with quarterback. Charlie reported that the Patriots are pretty set at quarterback. They like May and they like McCarthy, but they love Daniels. So yeah, if it's Daniels to three, like he's definitely going to be the pick. But if it's, I think they go May or McCarthy. Like they have to get a quarterback. They don't have anything at the position. So and they're starting with the new coaching staff, new regime. So there's no reason not to go quarterback. Even money now, really. What sportsbook is that? Because I was looking at DraftKings. I might have that open right now. Although I'm in PA again, so maybe it won't show up for me now. I'm gonna look. Actually, it's reloading. It's not going to show it for me. So, if you know what sportsbook, let me know. Because I looked at DraftKings yesterday, and Daniels is like a big favorite. Paulo Ennis says over under for trades in the first round 6.5. What do you think? I think 6.5 is a lot, but there might be a couple in the top 10. Like I can see Arizona doing two trades. 6.5 is a lot though. Like the top three aren't going to be traded. I think I'd go under. It's close though. It's not something I'd consider betting because it could be 5, 6, 7, 8. I think 6 is the most likely number. So it's too close. Chris says Nathan's hot dog contest style. So most hot dogs in 10 minutes. Okay. All right. So thanks for the clarification. First of all, Charlie is vegetarian, so he would finish last. So he's not going to eat any hot dogs. So Charlie's in last. I've Kenny. I've seen Kenny eat his fair share, but I think I can out eat Kenny, but not quickly. So like my thing is that I think I can eat more than anyone I know. However, I'm the slowest eater on the planet. I'm like a fish. Just like on downers or something like that. Just like I just like keep putting food in my mouth, but I'm like the slowest eater of all time. And my wife even like yells at me. She's like, "Come on, eat faster." But like I'm basically like a fish. I could just keep eating, like, and it won't stop, and I just keep going back for more. If I go to a buffet, I'll get like 5 plates, and I'll just keep eating. Um, but again, like if it's 10 minutes, like I'll finish close to last because I'm gonna eat like 2 hot dogs in 10 minutes. Just not gonna eat anything. Um, I think Tom would win. I think Tom on the show said he's a notoriously fast eater, and so I think Tom would win. I've never met Jacob in person. He's the only one I haven't met. I don't know his eating habits, but I think he would definitely beat me because I eat so slowly. I think in order, I would say it's gonna be Tom, then Kenny, then Jacob, then me, then Charlie. So there's your answer. All right, so DK and FD. Okay, interesting. I wonder if something got reported or something because I saw it was pretty overwhelming favorite for Daniels. PT Perry Sports says Redskins take Daniels. Patriots move. Okay, so I think I went that with that already. Yeah. Yeah, no, the Patriots are going to stick with the quarterback. Vikings could move up to 4, though. Chris saying, happy to clarify. I feel like this is by far the most important question of the night. It's very, very important for sure. You're right. Pagwana says there were 6 last year, but this year there could be a number of trades in the first round for Penix, Nix, and a wide receiver. Yeah, I think that's like why I wouldn't definitely hammer the under. Like it could go over for sure, but it always feels like the first round, there aren't that many trades, and then there are like so many trades on day 2. Yeah, it could be 5, 6, 7, 8. Like I said, I think 6 is the most likely number though. Joey Chestnut 76 in 10 minutes. That's insane. I'm 2 hot dogs in 10 minutes, but if it's like 100 minutes, I'm 20 hot dogs. I will keep eating nonstop, but I'm so slow at eating. But the slowest person. In fact, when I was a kid, my mom just got so bored from watching me eat that she like flung mashed potatoes at me. Um, it's just like I don't know. I was always a slow eater. I don't know why. But I can eat a lot though. All right, so we get to number 4, Marvin Harrison Jr. So Charlie doesn't have them trading down, and he also has Harrison over Neighbors. I want to talk to Charlie. Maybe he didn't hear the Mike Jurecki report. I know he values Jurecki's opinion pretty highly, so I think Charlie would change this to Neighbors, and so I assume that he would change Chargers to Marvin Harrison Jr. But as we talked about yesterday, the Chargers, all the rumors say that the Chargers are going to move down or get a tackle. It's just kind of like it feels like they almost forgot that they lost Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, and they don't have anything at receiver outside of Joshua Palmer. But who knows? That could all be false. Remember last year, all the reports are saying the Texans aren't going to take CJ Stroud, and they did. So all that's fake info, and hopefully we get some good info from the Chargers. We don't have any sources with the Charger or anything, so we're kind of going blind here with them. Number 6, the Giants complete the sweep of receivers in the first round to get Rome Odunze, which fills a huge need. Obviously, they don't have a number 1 or number 2 receiver, and Darius Slayton's their top guy, and he said he's gonna hold out. I'm like for what? You're not good. What are you holding out for? Giants really need a receiver. 7, Titans take Joe Alt, and this is super chalky, but for a reason. Titans don't have no left tackle right now, and Joe Alt would be a big upgrade. Number 8, another chalky pick. Falcons take Dallas Turner. I feel like this is like the earliest Turner could go, so it almost feels like it's not going to happen. I feel like Atlanta could move down. I do think Turner is the favorite if the Falcons stick with this pick, but I think that they can move down and still maybe get him. Although at 9, the Bears could draft him as well, and Charlie has the Bears drafting Jared Verse. I think this is a little too early for Verse, but I have him in my mock draft as well because I think the Bears trade down and still get him. It just makes a lot of sense. They don't have a second round pick. So they want, I know they want more resources. It's been reported that they want to trade down. I mean, the problem is who's going to trade up? And then number 10, Jets get Brock Bowers. I said this earlier yesterday, I think. I think this is the lowest he's going to go. He's a great talent. I think he's a better prospect than Kyle Pitts, and Pitts went number 4 overall. So the Bowers at 10, that seems like a steal in comparison, at least. I know that Pitts has been a big disappointment, but it doesn't mean that you should avoid drafting Brock Bowers. He could be an all-pro for so long. Number 11, Vikings get JJ McCarthy. So I imagine that the Vikings trade up for McCarthy because a number of teams could leap them. So and plus the Vikings have kind of telegraphed that they want to trade up because they got Houston's pick and everything. So I think they move up for McCarthy or maybe another quarterback. I was on the One Bar and Lopagus show. There's two draft guys who live in Minnesota, and we were talking about. It seemed like we were talking about the draft and everything and the quarterbacks, and it seems like they prefer Penix. And I agreed. I'd rather have Penix than McCarthy. And Penix has age and injury issues, but I think he's a much better quarterback than McCarthy. And I think McCarthy's ceiling is pretty low. So yeah, I think I'd rather have Penix. Like I've said this before. Like I think if Penix were 21 and didn't have an injury history, I think we'd be talking about him as a top 4 lock and maybe number 3 overall. But he is 24 and has injuries like that. That is something like that can't be ignored. But I really like him otherwise. Take those 2 things away. Like he's a stud. All right. So number 12, Bo Nix, the opposite of a stud. And it's funny on that same show. I was trashing Bo Nix, and they said we should make a I hate Bo Nix t-shirt for you. And then I said, well, if you guys do and send it to me, I'll wear it on the show next year because I'm always on the show once a year. But I was thinking like maybe I should make I hate Bo Nix t-shirts and then just sell it on the merch store. I think that'd be pretty funny. Now watch him be like the best quarterback in this class. I'd be pretty shocked, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. This feels like Kenny Pickett to me almost. Like, Kenny Pickett 2 years ago went in the first round, but only because the Steelers liked him and only because the owner said he wasn't going to pass on a Pitt quarterback, which is like the dumbest reason to take a quarterback. If the Steelers didn't take Pickett, he would have fallen out of the first round. And I think that like if the Broncos don't take Nix, I think he's going to fall out of the first round because I haven't heard anyone else like him. Number 13, the Raiders going Michael Penix Jr. Charlie posted a report on Wednesday saying that the Raiders are strongly considering Penix at 13, but also tackle cornerbacks. So they're not set. It sounds like Antonio Pierce really wants Penix and even wants to trade up for him. But Tom Telesco, the GM, wants a tackle or corner. And he thinks that maybe they could trade up from the second round and get Penix, which like if they like Nix that way, I would say yes, maybe if Denver didn't exist. But I think teams would like Penix more than Nix. Not like 100% sure about that, but I'm pretty confident that's true. Number 14, the Saints go JC Latham. I think Ola Fashanu would be a better option for the Saints because they need a left tackle. I think Latham's more right tackle guard, but he can play left tackle, I suppose. Yeah, it makes sense. It's the Saints going tackle makes sense. Number 15, Terrion Arnold to the Colts. I had this pick as well. There's so many good receivers in the AFC South now, and the Colts need a corner. Seahawks going Troy Fautanu, I assume, to play guard because they have no guards. The Seahawks lost both their guards in the center this offseason, so they really need help in the interior. So we have some questions here. So yeah, Nix over Penix. Oh no, Denver. Yeah, I'm hearing that they want to trade up for Bo Nix, which is insane. But we'll see. Maybe they'll get smart and not do that. But like Ben Wasley on the show last week said the Broncos should trade down and get Nix. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. But then I saw a report saying that they want to trade up for Bo Nix. I'm like, what? Like no one else wants this guy. What are you doing? Vegas Refund asking what team reporters do you trust most? So Mike Jurecki, first and foremost. I've never seen him get anything wrong about the Cardinals. Another good team reporter is Cecil Lammey. He covers the Broncos. He gets stuff right a lot as well. There's Darren Wolfson who covers the Vikings. He's pretty good. We have like a list on the site. I'll try to pull it up. It's on the homepage somewhere. It's like it's in the draft section. It says let me see. It says the best and the best and worst reporters from the NFL draft. And let me see. So I'll pull it up right now. Before we get to 17 through 32 for Charlie's mock draft. All right, so here it is. If you guys can see it, let's see if you guys can see it. Yes, you can. So, all right. So, since the 2023 NFL draft rumors results, like I keep track of like all the national media. Charlie got 6 right last year and 1 wrong. Albert Breer, two right, 0 wrong. Pauline was 2-2. So we have for the past 10 years, Charlie's gotten 64 right, 22 wrong. Schefter's 21-9, Pauline's 51-44. And you can go onward. Peter King retired, so we're not going to get more from him. At least I don't think so. Maybe he'll unretire. But if you scroll downward, you have local or specific team media. Drecky's 14-0, 14 correct reports, 0 incorrect. Cecil Lammey, as I said, 7 correct, 0 wrong. Jordan Ronan, who covers the Giants, he's 9-1. Mary Kay Cabot, who covers the Browns, 9-3. Armando Salguero, well, he used to cover the Dolphins for the Miami Herald, but I think now he works for Outkick, I believe. So we're not going to get much from him. Dave Lapham covers the Bengals, 5-0. Joe Person covers the Panthers, 6-1. Jim Wyatt covers the Titans, or at least I think he still does. Not sure. 6-3, and then we get to lesser one like Orlando Ledbetter. Not too many, but he's 4-0. Jerry Dulac covers the Steelers, 4-0. I think Jonathan Jones covers the Panthers. I'm not sure. Ralph Facciano's the Giants. Jeff McClain is, I believe, the Eagles. Elliot Shore Park's the Eagles. Mike Triplets the Saints. Darren Wolfson, I mentioned him. He's the Vikings. James Slater covers the Cowboys for ESPN. And is ESPN or NFL Network? I can't remember. I think it's NFL Network. Yeah, NFL Network. So you can see this, and there aren't like too many bad team reporters out there. They're usually pretty good. Rich Simony is probably the worst one who's reported the most. He's just 3-6. The worst overall reporter is Matt Miller is he's gotten 3 correct and 21 wrong. Mel Kiper 0-4. Mel Kiper really often doesn't report news. He just makes predictions on the draft. So that's why he only has 4. But Matt Miller tends to make a lot of predictions and well, not predictions, but tries to report a lot, and he's usually wrong about stuff. So yeah, it's all here. I even have the top rumors, the worst and the best. So this is all on the homepage. You can find, and the URLs here if you just want to do is draft 2023 rumors results.php. So let's see what we got here. Bryce saying, "Oh, Subball, can you give a Penix NFL comp?" I'm so bad at player comps. It's just so difficult. I feel like every player is their unique prospect. If I were to say someone, I'd probably say, I'd say like a much better version of I'd say like a much better version of Josh Dobbs, like a much better version. But I don't know. I mean, he's like a really strong arm. He's like a strongly built receiver as quarterback. He's got great leadership skills. He's super smart. He's really invested in the football. But his downsides are this injury history and his age. And I feel like Dobbs I would say Dobbs because he got like a late start to the NFL. But Dobbs does a lot of things well. Dobbs is super smart. But Penix has more talent. That's why I made that comparison. But I don't know otherwise. Maybe a mix of Tua and Dobbs, something like that. But like I said, I'm terrible making comparisons. So forgive me for not being able to. Polywana says also noticed the under 9.5 offensive linemen is plus 160. I think there's a decent chance 1 or 2 linemen fall to the second round. A lot of pass to the under than the over. Yeah, I agree with that. I think. I wonder how many offensive linemen I have in my first round. I bet it's under 9.5 as well. I think, but I think you're right. PT Perry says asking, do you think the Broncos could trade down and grab Knicks in the early round 2? Yeah, I think so. I think that's what they should do. I don't know why they trade up, but that's what the rumors are, is that they're going to move up for Bo Nix. So it's kind of really stupid if they do that, but it could be wrong. It could be a bad report. Chris said a great question. What other teams are going to take a quarterback that draft after Denver? So you have the Raiders, obviously 13. You have the Seahawks at 16. They brought in a bunch of prospects for quarterbacks for top 30 visits and whatnot. So Seattle is definitely on the radar for drafting a quarterback. You have Jacksonville, Cincinnati after that, no. Rams, no. Steelers, no. Dolphins, no. Eagles, no. At 23, you had the Vikings again. So the Vikings could hypothetically take a quarterback there. Dallas, no. 24. Green Bay, no. 25. Tampa, 26 could definitely do it. Like if they love Penix or Nix and one of them falls to 26, I think they pull the trigger. 27, Arizona, no. Buffalo, 28, no. Detroit, 29, no. Baltimore, 30, no. San Francisco, 31, no. And then Chiefs, 32, no. So yeah, so you only have a few teams. You have Seattle, you have Tampa, you have Minnesota. You never know. A team could trade up from the second round. The Giants could do it. The Giants, they have number 47. They can move up from the second round into the first and go quarterback then. Yeah, I mean, there are several teams I think in the second round who could do it. So you kind of have to worry about them once you start getting there. Like, I don't think Tennessee will do it, but like Tennessee, if they love one of these guys, they could move up in 38 to do it. Like I said, I don't think they do it, but they could. So yeah, I do think it's kind of limited. The Saints at 45, maybe. Derek Carr's not that great last year, so like they're in the conversation. Yeah, I think that I do think there's not that many. So what team reporters do you trust the least? So like I said, Rich Simony was like 3 right, 6 wrong. So he's gotten a lot wrong. So I think him, but I usually like if it's some team reporter I don't know, that's like when I won't trust them because like I feel like most team reporters are plugged in and they know a lot about their team, and if they put something out there, it's usually correct. From my experience, at least with the draft. So that's why like usually a lot of them have good records on the site. Chris says also, which team reporters do you think could eat the most hot dogs in 2 minutes? I don't that I mean like I said, I'll answer anything. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. What's the list here? I'm gonna call anyone out for being fat or anything like that. I just don't know like the girth of these people. I don't know if who's fat or whatnot. I was at a luncheon with Jerry Dulac once when I was at Penn State. But he didn't. I don't think he ate that much from my memory. Yeah, you know what? It's just like say it's like one of the women. Oh no, I don't. That'll be like more trouble. So I don't know. I honestly don't know the girth of these people. So like I'm trying to like look at like who's fat on this list, and I don't know. Like I haven't met too many of these people in real life. And like I don't want to like guess that someone's fat and they're not, But yeah, I don't know. But it's not like a bad thing, if you can win a hot dog contest. I think it's pretty impressive. All right, so okay, the boss saying, have you heard anything else from Jarecki? Because all he said was he thinks they like Neighbors more, and maybe they changed their mind. Yes, I have. I have I've spoken to him, and I'll get to Arizona's pick in a bit. But I'll let you know when we get there. You're welcome. Chris saying, I don't understand the age concerns. Quarterbacks to play up to 45 these days. Yeah, that's true. Aaron Rodgers is what, 41 now or 40? But then again, we haven't seen him play that much in 2 years. So, but yeah, you're right. I mean, Tom Brady's talking about coming back. I think that would be pretty crazy. I mean, he's staying in shape. Apparently, he can run a 40 faster now than he did back when he was at the combine. So that's insane. I hope he comes back for one more year. I think it'd be entertaining. PT Perry saying Washington Huskies OC is now Seahawks OC. Penix reunion maybe. Yeah, or Fatanu. I think either one makes sense, but just because he's there doesn't mean he's going to take him. I guess it doesn't hurt. Plus, it's a local team, so it's a free local visit for them. Doesn't count for the top 30. Love to Eat says Penix reminds me of Russell Wilson. Arm talent, ball placement, mobility. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I like that better than mine. Like I said, I'm really bad with player comps. All right, so where's Charlie's mock draft? 17 through 32. Jaguars going Nate Wiggins. I have this as well in my mock draft. I'm going to change this to Quinion Mitchell. I think Wiggins might fall. Someone brought up, I can't remember who it was, so forgive me, but I think someone brought up on the show that Wiggins got hurt in the 40. I kind of forgot about that, but I think that could turn teams off. Like, how do you get hurt running the 40 in your corner? Like, linemen I could see for sure, because there's no reason they should be running 40s, but corners running 40s getting hurt, like, I don't know. I feel like he might be too brittle. He's 173 pounds. So I think teams might be worried about his durability. So I think he might fall a little bit. Bengals going to Talise Fuaga at 18. I think this is probably his floor. He's talented. He can go in the top 16 for sure. He can go as high as if he went as high as 9 to the Bears, I wouldn't be shocked. But I think the more likely, 14 to the Saints, 16 to the Seahawks, like somewhere in that range, 13 to the Raiders. Like, I feel like he can go there. But yeah, I mean, if he's there for the Bengals, I think they take him. Cooper DeJean, 19. It's higher than I have him, but I mean, the Rams could use some defensive back help. I've noticed that Byron Murphy isn't taken yet for in Charlie's mock. I don't know if Charlie's lower Murphy than I am, but I think he'd be a great pick for the Rams because they lost Aaron Donald. Number 20, Amarius Mims to the Steelers. Someone brought this up on the show that the Steelers have shown a lot of interest in him. I mean, they've shown a lot of interest in a lot of linemen, so it could be any one of them. But yeah, Mims makes sense to me. They recently drafted a tackle last year, so they could do it again because they need another one. They need a lot of offensive line help. 21, Olu Fashanu to the Dolphins. The Dolphins need to protect Tua for sure. Like that's their biggest issue. And that'll help. 22, Quinion Mitchell to the Eagles. So Charlie writes in Wall's mock, he has the Eagles taking a different cornerback, but I changed my mock to Amarius Mims. But yeah, the Eagles could definitely take a corner. They have a big issue at the position. Last year they couldn't stop the pass at all. Sam Howell looked like Joe Montana against them. So they need to fix that. Here's Byron Murphy going to the Vikings. The Vikings love Byron Murphy. That's according to Darren Wolfson. But they need a quarterback. So if they move up, then they're not going to be able to take him. But if they can get him, I think they will. 24, Laiatu Latu to the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys go tackle. But, they could love Latu or something like that and kind of be shocked that he's there. So I think that he makes sense for them. 25, Packers going Tyler Guyton. It makes sense. They just signed RJ Dillard today, but that's not going to keep him from drafting a tackle to replace Bakhtiari. 26, the Buccaneers going Chop Robinson. They lost Shaq Barrett, and they need another edge rusher. So I think they can go that. They can go offensive lineman, interior lineman. All that makes sense. So Cardinals at 27 going Kool-Aid McKinstry. Cornerbacks definitely on the board for them. But I heard that Darius Robinson could be a good pick for the Cardinals. They need defensive line help. Like they've lost so much talent on the defensive line over the years. And so getting someone like Darius Robinson it makes sense. Or Jordan Morgan, another guy. He makes sense for them as well. They need to improve their offensive line too. So even though the corner makes a lot of sense, I think they go offensive or defensive line with the pick. 28, Brian Thomas Jr. To the Bills. Our resident Bills fan, John Sanders, I'm sure would love this, and I'm sure he doesn't think that Brian Thomas is going to make it to the Bills, and I think he's correct. However, we've seen prospects fall in the past, and Thomas is raw, so he could drop. I think it's more likely the Bills trade up like a half a dozen spots or something. They could go with this receiver to replace Stephon Diggs. Let's see, have any comments? Okay, so yeah, number 29, the Lions going Jackson Powers Johnson. So Frank Ragnow has some foot issues. It's kind of chronic at this point. So the Lions, I think, would consider taking a center here and maybe someone that could play guard in the meanwhile. And they lost Jonah Jackson to free agency, so they need one more guard. Ravens going Xavier Worthy at number 30. So back-to-back first-round receivers for the Ravens, which makes sense. You want to take advantage of Lamar Jackson's arm, and the Ravens could use another receiver. They lost Odell Beckham Jr. Another receiver here. Niners taking Adonai Mitchell. Brandon Ayuk might be traded. It's kind of like out of nowhere, but yeah, like Ayuk is demanding the trade apparently, and the Niners might make the move. So, and number 32, the Chiefs going Kingsley Suamataia. They had some major issues at tackle last year, so no surprise to see tackles to the Chiefs. I feel like it's tackle or receiver to the Chiefs. So Bryce asking, I've seen Morgan linked to the Ravens from a few media outlets. Have you and Charlie heard anything similar? I think we'll get some Ravens info later. I've not heard anything concerning Morgan to the Ravens. But I'll definitely keep you updated. I do think that there's a decent chance that he's not even there at 30. Like I said, the Cardinals could take him at 27, or you can go earlier. These tackles are going to be in high demand. We saw how bad offenses were last year. Like it was bad. I don't know if you're into betting or anything like that, but the totals for games were in the low 30s for the first time since like 2003 or 2004. Like back that in those years, you'd sometimes see totals of like 31 and a half, 32, 30, 32 and a half. Like those are the lowest totals in games. And recently, you didn't see anything below like 38. Like that was unheard of. And now it's back to like 31 and a half, 32. It's just like teams have major issues scoring. And I think it's because the offensive line play has been so bad recently. And I think this draft is so important because there's so many good offensive linemen, or like we think they're good. If these guys bust, like we're not going to see a lot of scoring for a long time. But that's why I think teams are going to be desperate for a lineman. And I think that's why they'll go earlier than expected. So yeah, we had a question about over under offensive linemen, 9.5. Like 9.5 seems like a lot, but considering how desperate teams are for blocking, I think it might go over on like second thought. So Dave asking, who do you think is pretty? Who do you think Pretty Ricky is on Twitter? He's right a lot. I'm not familiar with Pretty Ricky. I've not heard of this person. I'm gonna type it in. I don't know if Pretty Ricky is that FR Fantroy? No, it's he's BYU track and field. I don't know who this Pretty Ricky guy is. Maybe you can let me know. Pretty Ricky. Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything on that. So you have to let me know who that is. Okay, Pretty Ricky 213. Okay, let's see. Pretty Ricky 213. Let's see. He says he's right about a lot of stuff. What's he being right about? Okay, I'm reading his tweets. I don't expect AJ Brown to be traded. I agree with that. Let's see. Is it someone for sure? Like what have they gotten right? I'll definitely look over this Twitter feed. So thanks for the info. But do you think it's like someone known and it's like kind of their alt account? Okay, I'll look over it, but yeah, let me know what he's gotten right and stuff like that. Okay, so we have another mock draft. Like I said, this is recommended by my developer. So if this mock draft sucks, you can yell at him. Just kidding. That is the best. But this is by DA Huffma. Okay, so I've recognized this name. So he's made mock drafts here on the site before. And I've said this last week when I was looking at other reader mock drafts. If you guys submit a mock draft on the site, my developer will probably notice it and he'll give me the heads up if it's good. Or you can just email me and just give me the heads up, and I'll talk about it on the site. I'll link to it on Twitter. You'll get exposure for sure. So you can do that. You can also enter the mock draft contest, which is free entry, and it's $350 to first place. All right, so he starts with Caleb Williams. No surprise there. Jane Daniels, number 2. But here's the surprise: he has Drake May, number 3, but not to the Patriots. He has it to the Broncos, moving up. So here, the Broncos trade 12, 136, a 2025 first rounder, and a 2025 third rounder to the Patriots for 3, which sounds like pretty reasonable compensation. The problem is, I don't see the Patriots moving out of 3. That's why I don't think this will happen. I'm sure Bronco fans would be ecstatic if this did happen, although Denver's roster is nearing Giants level. They don't have talent in most places. So I don't think the Broncos are in a position to trade up for a quarterback. That's why I think like trading down for a quarterback makes so much sense because there's so many holes on the roster that like they could fill with other draft picks and then get their quarterback. But if I'm Denver, like if I were running Denver, I'd be tanking so hard this year. I would trade most of my players. I don't even know like who I would keep like on the roster. Just looking at their roster overall right now. I think I would like players I would keep for sure. I don't even like. I'm just looking at these guys like it's like Patrick Surtain, yeah. Um, I guess, but you could even trade him for a lot. So maybe I consider that as well. There's not like I'm looking at the roster and there's not like one guy I'd be like, yeah, I definitely want to keep him for the future. Like I would not trade Marvin Mims, for example. Like he didn't do anything last year, so I feel like his value is low at the moment, and I think he has potential. So like I'd keep him. Um, Quinn Miners is a young lineman, so I'd keep him too. But like man, this roster is so bad. They've so many holes, so like in so many places. Um, like Caden Stearns, just keep him. But like, a lot of these guys are just not good, and this roster sucks. So like, I'd have a fire sale. I'd trade everyone. I'd get as many picks as possible. I'd tank for either Shedeur Sanders or Drew Aller, and who knows, maybe someone else pops up in 2025, and try to get one of them, and just try to like with all the money I get from getting rid of these guys in a couple of years, just go ham in free agency and like try to compete for a Super Bowl in 2027. That's what I would do. Just try to blow the whole thing up. But yeah, this roster is so bad. So, okay. So let's see. Chris saying, not to spoil your picks early, but any thoughts on tomorrow's play-in games? So I think like right now, I think I think Miami is my play at the moment. Just because like the one thing I miscalculated with Miami yesterday was that Tyler Hero is back as well. Like I focus on Joel Embiid, but like Tyler Hero being back is a big deal for Miami. I just trust them in a must win game, especially against Chicago. Like Chicago's not that good, so I'm considering them. And then in the other game, the Pelicans are not going to have Zion Williamson, which is a huge deal. It's considering like that the Brandon Ingram's not 100%. So this almost feels like a trap because like everyone's betting the Kings, but I think the Kings are the right side. So it's my pick is either going to be the Heat or the Kings, but we'll see. I'm not 100% sure yet. Just going to do more research into it. Dave's saying maybe rogue agent with connections. So here's the thing with agents. A lot of reporting is from agents. And Charlie and I have learned over the years that like it's so difficult to trust agents. Like they lie all the time and about their clients. And I don't blame them because that's their job. Like they want to pump up their clients. They would say like we would like back in the day, like when we were naive, like starting out, where we talk to agents, be like, oh, where's your client gonna go? And they're like, oh, he has interest from this team, this team, this team, this team. And like none of the teams like them. Like they would just try to get this info out there. So we would report it and like there'd be some hype for their client. And then some other team would notice and then they draft them. So I just never trust agents at all. The only thing they're good for is like providing contract info, and that's why Schefter and Rappaport they get all the free agency signings and they get the contract info. It's because most of their sources are agents, and so they get the info right away for signings. But as far as like draft interests, the agents are like the worst people to talk to for draft interest. Yeah, Connor saying he was right on a lot of free agency stuff. So yeah, that goes with what Dave was saying. Maybe he's an agent, so I can see that happening. Chris saying no Butler, no Zion. Nice public reaction on the latter. I feel as though the Kings may be flat after beating the Warriors in a meaningful game. Yeah, that's definitely true. So it might be Miami for sure. Sue says I have a hard hard enough time mocking my upcoming week. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, it's pretty tough for me too with the two kids here. Pretty happy my daughter hasn't woken up yet. Cassandra's saying also don't forget I banned the Broncos from trading away draft picks for 5 years. Yeah, That's something they need to do if they move up. Um, Walt's opinion on Marvin Mims is biased. Walt wants him to be a star because he's opened 97 Mims Rainmakers on stream. You're not wrong. I think Marvin Mims is the best player ever. I said it. You're not wrong. Is Jimmy Butler out though? Yeah. What is Heat without Jimmy Butler this season? I think. Let's see. I'm feeling like the Heat without Jimmy Butler this season, they're 13-9. So they can win without him. But like that's what I feel like having Hero there is so key for them. But like it's Chicago, like it's not like they're playing the Celtics. And by the way, they almost beat the Celtics without Butler. They lost 110 to 106. But okay, so they haven't played Chicago without at least I don't think they have. Yeah, they have not played Chicago without Butler. But they played Atlanta without Butler twice. Atlanta Chicago just was the matchup last night. And they beat Atlanta twice without Butler, 117 to 109 and 122 to 113. So I feel like they could beat mediocre teams without Butler. I'm not too concerned about that. Like I said, if this is the Celtics, then I'd be like, no, they're not going to beat them. But yeah, they could beat Chicago without Butler. Okay, so by saying Chicago is severely underrated, they have the guards and wings to defend Hero, and Miami has zero answers for DeRozan. I feel like Miami's a pretty good defensive team. I don't know. They almost beat the Sixers with Embiid, and the Sixers with Embiid this year, they're 32-8. So I don't know. I'm not too high on Chicago. We'll see though. I could be wrong. All right, so this mock, so Denver moving up for May, which I can't see, but it's like within the realm of possibility, I suppose. But I think the Patriots stay put. And like every pick is for sale. Like teams like the Redskins say like, oh, we're not trading the number 2 pick. But like hypothetically, what if a dumb team is like, oh, we'll trade you 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028 first round picks? Like, do you think the Redskins are saying no to that? Like, of course they're going to say yes. So like everyone has a price. And if the deal is good enough, I feel like the Patriots make the deal. So not that it's going to happen, but just saying. All right, so Cardinals number 4, Marvin Harrison Jr. Talked about this before. I think it's Malik Neighbors. Number 5, Chargers, Joe Alt. So yeah, this is the Chargers going lineman. So I'm glad to see this because we get to see what a mock draft looks like with the Chargers going lineman instead of receiver. And so the Giants going Malik Neighbors at 6, which makes sense. So they have no receivers. And then here we have the Vikings trading up from 11 to 7. So they trade 11 and 23 for 7 and a 2025 second rounder, which I think sounds to me that's correct on the trade value chart. So yeah, they move up for McCarthy, which I feel like people will expect. It makes sense to me. The Falcons go with Dallas Turner. Charlie had that as well. Seahawks drafting Talis Fawaga at 9. So they move up. And I said Fawaga could go 9, but yeah, Seattle here, it's trading 16 to 9, and they give up 81 and 118. So I think a good trade for the Bears because they don't have a second round pick, so they need more resources. I think if they go from 9 to 16, I think they'd want a second round pick, but I'm not sure if they'd get it. But I don't know how it works on the trade value chart. Here is a surprise. The Cowboys trade up from 24 to 10. They give up the number 56, the second rounder, and then 2025 third rounder for 10. I think going 24 to 10, I think you need to give up more than that. And I don't think they go up for receiver. I think they would go up for tackle. Like if somehow Joe Alt made it to 10, like I think Dallas in a heartbeat would do that trade. But like I can see them moving from 24 to like 15 for Fatanu. Or maybe a couple spots for Guyton, but definitely for Tanu or for Shanu. I think they move up that like into the teens for them, or number 10, number 9 for Joe Alt. I can see that happening because like I said this before, like Jerry Jones is pretty old. He doesn't have that much time left just to see another Super Bowl. So I feel like he'd be all in, and that would require moving up. Titans trading from 7 to 11, going JC Latham, which makes sense because Joe Alt's off the board. So if you're Tennessee, it makes a lot of sense to move down if Alt's not there. And then the Patriots moving from 3 to 12, going Fashanu. Kind of have to wonder what they're going to do a quarterback. Like if Drake May is the star, the Patriots, like whoever made this decision is gonna live with it for the rest of his career. Just like having a franchise quarterback fall into your lap and just trading out of it. I don't think they trade out. I think they go quarterback, like I said before. So number 13, the Raiders going Terrion Arnold. Yeah, cornerbacks definitely in the mix. Although it sounds like they like Quinion Mitchell if they go corner. Number 14, Saints going Brian Thomas Jr. Yeah, they have no number 2 receiver. I think this is a little early for Brian Thomas Jr. I think that the Saints make this move. I think if they take Thomas, I think they trade down a little bit and then draft them. But I don't think it's impossible for them to do this. Colts going Cooper DeJean at 15. I think a little too early for this. But it could happen. It's not like crazy. So the Bears trading down from 9 to 16, going Byron Murphy at this pick. I like the move. It feels like they could take Murphy at 9, and like if they did, I'd be like, it's a little early, but I wouldn't hate it. But moving from 9 to 16 and then getting Murphy, I think it's a great move for them. 17 Buccaneers trading up from 26 to 17. They give up number 57, getting and also getting 116 back. So Tampa, they have big issues of corner, so this makes a lot of sense for them. Brock Bowers falling all the way to 18. I don't see that happening, but if he does somehow, I feel like the Bengals would snatch him up in a second. They don't have much of tight end. I do like Tanner Hudson a little bit, but if he's not going to prevent the Bengals from drafting Brock Bowers. So yeah, I feel like a no-brainer if he's there, but I just don't think he will be. Rams getting Jared Verse at 19. I think edge rusher is definitely in play for them. I think anyone in the front 7 is. 20 Graham Barton to the Steelers. They just met with him on a top 30 visit, and they need a center. It says guard tackle, but he can play center as well. He's played center in the past at Duke, so he'd fill a big need, and he's so versatile. Like I feel like teams love that kind of stuff from linemen. 21 Dolphins going for Tanu. I think if Dallas moves up, they move up for Tanu. At least to like in the teens, like I said before. So I don't see Fatanu falling to 21. I know I have him at 24 in my mock draft to Dallas, but I think Dallas might trade up for him. So that's kind of like why I have him there. Eagles going Nate Wiggins 22. Like I said, I'm expecting him to fall a little bit because he's a little brittle, but he's definitely within range here at 22. 23, the Titans with this is Minnesota's pick that they picked up in the trade. They go Laiatu Latu. Yeah, it makes sense for them to go edge rusher. So, yeah, a decent pick. 24, Jets going Johnny Newton, defensive tackle. So I don't like this. I think the Jets have to go offensive playmaker. And we know they're going to do that. Charlie reported it a few weeks ago. And so, like, they have a great defense. So I don't know why they would take Newton over a prospective receiver. Like Adonai Mitchell is going 25. Like if they trade down, I feel like they would draft Adonai Mitchell at the spot. But the Panthers move up in this mock draft from 33 to 25. They swap 65 and 126 to take Adonai Mitchell. I think this could definitely happen. The Panthers, for teams drafting who are wanting to draft receivers at the end of the first round, like you have the Bills, obviously, you have maybe the Ravens, you have the Niners, you have the Chiefs. Like they have to worry about the Panthers moving up from 33 because the Panthers, I know they traded for Deontay Johnson, but they had nothing else on receiver. Adam Thielen had a nice like first half of the season last year, and then he just did nothing in the second half. And he's he's another year older now. He's pretty close to retirement. So I think the Panthers go receiver. 26, the Jaguars getting Kool-Aid McKinstry. Is this via trade? Yeah, it's the Tampa trade. So yeah, they get Kool-Aid McKinstry, which makes sense. They like I said before, they have a lot of receiver talent added to the AFC South, and they need cornerback help. Cardinals going Jordan Morgan. I talked about this being a very likely pick for Arizona. They need linemen on both sides of the ball. 28, the Raiders moving up from 44. So this is a Telesco draft here. He moves up from 44 to 28. He gives up a 77, and a 5th-round pick in 2025 to make it happen. I think Raider fans would be thrilled to pick up a stud at 13 and then a quarterback at 28. It's kind of like their dream come true. 29, Darius Robinson to the Lions. I talked about him as a possibility for the Cardinals. Makes sense for the Lions as well. They brought in a lot of defensive tackles for top 30 visits. So feels like defensive tackle is definitely in the mix. Ravens going to Marius Mims. I think I had this in my mock draft a few weeks ago. It makes sense. I feel like the Ravens always get someone talented falling to them, and they need linemen because they lost 3 linemen this offseason. Another lineman, number 31, Niners getting Tyler Guyton. They need a right tackle, and they need a left tackle for the future. Trent Williams is still a stud right now, but he's in his mid-30s. He could his talent level could fall off and at a moment's notice. And it'd be nice if they have like a left tackle waiting in the wings who plays right tackle at the moment. So I think offensive line is definitely a play for the Niners. And then Chiefs going Enos Rakestraw Jr. I think he goes early second round, but he could definitely pop up to 32. But I have a tough time seeing the Chiefs pass on a tackle or a receiver. So they really need offense. So there's also a second round here. I don't know if he goes further than that. No, so that's just 2 rounds. Yeah, you can read the second round. I believe this link is on the homepage, or I tweeted this out too, so you can check that out. John Sanders saying, who names their kid Kool-Aid? It's actually a nickname. I actually went into the history of this. I think it was like last spring, like in May. His that's not his real name, but it's a nickname because apparently when he was a baby, he looked like the Kool-Aid Man, and so I believe it was his grandmom who named them, who nicknamed him that. So luckily, like his parents were like, oh, let's go with Kool-Aid for his name. His real name is JaQuincy, which is I think like Kool-Aid is actually better than JaQuincy. So I can see like why he's going with that. Like, why not just Quincy? I feel like Quincy would be a fine name. But yeah, it's JaQuincy McKinstry, which sounds like a mouthful. Cool. I don't know. Kool-Aid's a cool nickname though. Let's see. John saying, can you think of a team who traded back in the first round for a quarterback that ended up being their franchise guy? Did the Ravens do it? I know they drafted Hayden Hurst, and then they drafted Lamar Jackson. I don't know if they traded up for it though. But I know that they had their second pick in the first round, which like sounds so weird that like they would draft Hayden Hurst and then Lamar Jackson. Like in hindsight, that's so stupid. Like, of course you draft your franchise quarterback first and then a tight end later. Like, I don't know. They thought they needed Hayden Hurst before Lamar Jackson. So stupid. But that worked out. I think didn't the Vikings get Teddy Bridgewater a late first, which I think that worked out until he got hurt. But I don't know. Again, I don't know if they trade up for him though. Yeah. So yeah, you're saying not trade up, trade their pick to move back in the first round, like okay, trade their pick to move back in the first round, like the Bills of the EJ Manuel. Okay, I see what you're saying. I don't, not off the top of my head. Like I'm sure it has worked out from once upon a time, but I can't think of one off the top of my head. And it makes sense though. Like if you like a quarterback, why would you trade down and then get him? And so I see what you're saying. So yeah, it's definitely the thing with Bo Nix is like if the Broncos don't think he's good enough at 12, like what makes them think he's good enough at 20? Like, why don't you just, if you like a guy enough, you're going to take him at 12 and not risk losing him. And it just kind of like says a lot about that guy. So yeah, I see what you're saying. Bryce saying Mims to the Ravens would feed families. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm sure Lamar Jackson would love that. Baltimore traded back twice, drafted Hurst, and then traded back into the first round for Lamar. Also drafted Mark Andrews in the third round that year. Yeah, what a bizarre draft. Because they draft the worst tight end. First of all, they draft 2 tight ends, which I guess is like not unheard of, but they draft 2 tight ends. They draft the worst one by far first, and they draft him over their franchise quarterback, and then they draft a replacement for the guy who's going to replace the first round tight end in the third round, and then ended up working out. It ended up being a great draft for the Ravens. It's just like so bizarre. Like if you like explain that to someone like back when they did it, you're like, yeah, they're going to do all this. It doesn't make any sense, but it's going to be great for them. It's pretty funny. Mark Andrews had diabetes just like Donnie Mitchell. Yeah, I forgot about that. I mean, he's certainly like had a great career. And hopefully he recovers from that injury, because like it's a pretty brutal injury that he had last year. Felt like if he were 100% for that playoff game, they may have had a chance. But then again, like, I don't know why they didn't run the ball against the Chiefs defense that couldn't stop the run. That was pretty mystifying. By saying Baltimore's history drafting two tight ends and second always being better. Maybe that's the key. Just get the crappy tight end out of the way and just get the good one later. Yeah. Ed Dixon, Dennis Pitta. Yeah. That's so funny that happens. Yeah, like I said, it's not unheard of. Teams draft two tight ends all the time. I know the Patriots did that recently. I can't remember who the tight ends were. Like, they were both crappy. They were both like terrible tight ends. But it does happen a lot. Yeah, Kohler likely. That's crazy. Yeah, so maybe they do it again. Like, why not? And they don't need a tight end now, but maybe they'll do that in a few years. Like, if Andrews leaves or likely leaves. Yeah, it's a good strategy if it works, right? All right, so I guess that's about it. It's about an hour now, so I'll probably sign off. Have to wake up early because I know my daughter is probably gonna be up at 5 or 6 a.m. And I also have to do a show on Play Like a Jet, which is the Jets podcast. Definitely recommend checking that out if you're a Jets fan. But yeah, thanks so much, guys, for tuning in. Really appreciate the comments and everything like that. Please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit the link in the description for the merch store. All that would help us out a lot. And also consider buying my book, Jerks of the College Years. If you haven't already, this would be a good way to help the show. And I think you'll like it. At least if you like Jerks of the Week, you'll like it, I think. Or maybe recommend this or the show to anyone else. Like I said, thanks so much for the comments and the questions. I'll be back on Saturday. We'll be back with Tom. Tom asked me, he's like, should I do the show tonight or Saturday? And I'm like, this didn't happen. But I'm like, I'm home alone with my daughter. If she wakes up, we're gonna have to stop the show because I'm gonna have to get her. She's only 8 months old, so she's not sleep trained yet. So but it would have worked out, I suppose. Although Tom and I would have gone for another hour or so. Slew for the quick 222. Thanks so much, Slew. Keep the streak alive. Yeah. Thanks, Slew. Really appreciate it. Like I said, this doubles our income for the show. So YouTube ads, they really pay nothing. And I heard that someone asked me, like, why aren't you on Rumble? First of all, the program I use, StreamYard, doesn't broadcast Rumble. And second, I heard that Rumble pays even less than YouTube ads. So I'm like, wow, YouTube pays nothing in the first place. Like, Rumble's can pay less. So Slew, thank you so much. Game of Thrones talk, baby. Yeah. The 2 episodes that Tom is supposed to watch is the second one is Battle of the Blackwater, which is in episode 9. John Sanders, 223, beat you, Slew. Thank you, John. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you and Slew. You guys are awesome. You're always here and you're always contributing. Just want like, really appreciate you guys. You really keep the show going, and just want to let you know that Tom and Jacob and Kenny, they all appreciate you guys as well. Like, we always talk about how great you guys are. So thank you so much for Slew for the 222 and John with the 223. Thanks, guys. Yeah, it's funny, but not expected, but really appreciate it, guys. Prices right now. Yes. So anyway, like I was saying, yeah, Tom is gonna be watching episodes 8 and 9 of season 2, and the episode 9 is Battle of Blackwater. I have some notes already. For Tom, was gonna ask him, was Catelyn Stark smart for releasing Jaime Lannister? And I was gonna ask him what he thought of Roose Bolton, who's it's kind of like he's becoming a more prominent character, and of course we all know what happens, but I guess Tom doesn't know. But I was gonna bring that up as well, and some of the strategies that the characters took in the Battle of the Blackwater. So it'll be fun. So yeah, that's on Saturday. I hope you guys have a great start to your weekend. And I'll talk to you Saturday, and have a great night, and I'll talk to you later.